Welcome to segment 3 of Unsanctioned with myself and one Andy Hall, and this is it. This is where it comes down to the 3 bowl games that we just can't wait to watch for. We've already talked about the BCS. We've talked about Iowa, Missouri, obviously. These are, like I said, just for either who's in it, where it's at, or maybe what's on the line, or coaching matches, whatever. It's our 3 favorite bowl games. I'm not going to lie, this year it was tough.
It took me right up till about 2 seconds ago to come up with the 3 that I just picked.
So I'll go first, and just for where it's at, just because I want to see the stadium, I want to see what it looks like, I'm going to go the Pinstripe Bowl. December 30th, it's a Thursday game, it's going to be at 2:30, and it's got Kansas State and Syracuse at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I love the novelty of this, kind of like the NHL does with their outdoor games, the Winter Classic. It's kind of the same feel to it, where you get somebody out on a field that wasn't maybe necessarily
and Yankee Stadium used to host football games, the old Yankee Stadium, way back when, so it's kind of a throwback to that, but then you have Bill Schneider from Kansas State in this, and Syracuse, who hasn't really done anything for past few years.
Well, they haven't done much outside of almost beating Iowa a couple of years ago.
What was it, like 12 times they tried?
4th and goal. Baby.
Yeah, it happens. But, no, I think this would be a good game just for where it's at. I want to see Yankee Stadium in a football light. And let's face it, Yankee Stadium, whether you like the Yankees or not, Yankee Stadium is a nice stadium. I mean, even if you told me that that's where we're going to play for our bowl game and we were supposed to be a national championship, you'd still be like, wow, I'm playing a football game in Yankee Stadium.
In the cold weather, great.
But it's Yankee Stadium.
I know.
And it'll be the first football game in new Yankee Stadium. So you got a little bit of history there, too.
Yeah, as long as I don't have to be out in the cold, I'm happy. I'll sit at home and watch it.
All right.
From the comforts of my own chair.
So that's my first one. We'll go Andy's first favorite.
My favorite, number 1, would have to be the Capital One Bowl.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, well, was that on your list?
I got to find a new one now.
Probably should have talked about this beforehand. January 1, noon start here Central Time, Orlando, Florida, pitting Alabama, the underachieving Alabama.
Way underachieving. 9-3 on the year. Against
the overachieving Michigan State Spartans, who kind of came out of nowhere this year.
They were only supposed to be middle of the pack this year for the Big Ten. They really were. They weren't supposed to do much other than that. But no, Alabama lost to, obviously, South Carolina, LSU, close game there, and then Auburn by 1 point, 1 stinking point.
Yeah, I'll tell you something about this Alabama team. Mentioned underachieving. That's putting it lightly. There were a couple of games on the schedule they probably should have lost and ended up coming back and winning in the final minutes of the game. But that said, it's the classic SEC Big Ten matchup that we love seeing in bowl season, where the national pundits will have you believe that nobody can stop the speed of the SEC.
No.
In this case, it might actually be true. Alabama is a very talented team, 1 year removed from being national champions. They've still got some big playmakers on this team. Michigan State, on the other hand, a couple of trips up in the Big Ten schedule, but I'll tell you what, on the whole, these guys are a very solid bunch of athletes, and I think pose a pretty good threat to Alabama.
And you got D'Antonio with Michigan State. Heart attack this year, heart problems, but he's got the biggest set of balls of any coach in the NCAA right now.
Cojones.
I mean, that against Notre Dame, the fake field goal in overtime. I mean, you have that, it's like, wow. Plus you have Nick Saban, who used to coach at Michigan State.
Yeah, it's the unpredictability of this matchup. But on the other hand, I still think Alabama wins the game, don't get me wrong. But I think Michigan State gives them a much better game than most of the national press are giving them credit for.
I'm having a hard time. I think Alabama will win, but there's a little part of me that thinks, you know what, Michigan State, this season they've had, damn, man, they may pull this off. They're 11-1. You don't get to 11-1 in the Big Ten without being somewhat good.
No, it's absolutely true.
So
I think their only loss, of course, being the Iowa Hawkeyes. Which was definitely the high point of Iowa's season.
An epic ass whooping.
Which was pretty awesome to have happened at home, obviously.
And that was my girlfriend Steph's first game at Kinnick Stadium.
Oh, cool.
I told her beforehand, if they lose, you're never coming back. So that was obviously my second game. So what's your second game?
That was my number
one.
Go
on.
Yeah, my number 2 is the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. I love the Hawaii Bowl. Why do I love the Hawaii Bowl? Because I love offense. Every year, it doesn't matter who Hawaii plays, It's always a high-scoring affair. Hawaii usually puts up most of the points, although this year their opponent is Tulsa. Now, Tulsa, for being kind of a no-name team, is actually a really good offense and will put up some points as well because Hawaii, not known for their defense whatsoever. So, as we were saying with the national championship game, you could see 100 points scored in the game. I think you're looking at 110, 120 easily in the Hawaii Bowl, honestly. It's no matter what the score is going to be, it's going to be high-scoring. I think Hawaii wins by virtue of the home field.
Combined score for this game, 73.
Even then, I think I'd probably bet the over.
And the Warriors, the Rainbow Warriors, are 10-point favorites. So
yeah, well, I think I'd bet the over. I probably stay away from that line because I think it could go either way. But I think Hawaii still wins the game and probably by about 10 points.
Yeah. All right. So now it comes down to our third pick both ways, and I'm going to be honest with you. There's not much else out there that I'm really excited about. The default one I'm kind of interested to see, and I'm just grabbing out of thin air here, is the Holiday Bowl. Nebraska and Washington. You have Nebraska, who's 10-3, moving to the Big Ten. It's their last game as a Big 12 member. Then you have Washington, Pac-10 team, 6-6. Okay, between the Pac-10 bowl games and the Big 12 bowl games, I mean, what kind of matchup is that?
Oh, I'll tell you something. For one, they got snubbed, Nebraska.
Yeah,
they deserved
totally
to be in a better bowl, as did Missouri, who ended up now playing Iowa in the Insight Bowl. It really probably should have been the other way around. I don't know. I love the game, don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be fun to watch, and I personally think Jake Locker's a great quarterback. So that's going to be cool to watch. And they've been a phenomenal team. They've just had a couple of hiccups this season.
Yeah, they lost in the Big 12 championship game, and that's nothing to... And they were leading that game. Oklahoma came back.
Yeah, they did. I remember that night very well. It was our company Christmas party, and all the Nebraska fans we work with here at the Radio Ranch were all watching it on some portable television, and they were all so excited, and by the end of the night, they were all drinking multiple bottles of liquor. So
I think Nebraska rolls in this. I'm not going to lie. I don't think Washington at 6-6 is all that much of a threat. Yeah, they can beat USC and stuff all the time, but beyond that, I mean...
Yeah, the one interesting thing to watch, coming into this season, Jake Locker was considered by a lot of people to be one of the top two quarterbacks to come out after this season and come into the NFL draft. He could really help his draft status if he plays well. That said, I don't think that they stand much of a chance against the team, Nebraska. I think the black shirts will show up.
Yeah. So now we come down to the last one, the last game we'll talk about.
Yeah, I would have picked the Nebraska-Washington game, but instead I decided to go with the Mako Las Vegas Bowl, that being Boise State and Utah. Why? Because I just love the Boise State Broncos. What can I say?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Boise State. I mean, you have the teams like TCU, Utah, who they're not in the power conferences, and when it comes around the end of the year, they'll say, yeah, maybe we have. But Boise State just runs their mouth about it all the time, how unfair it is and all this. And I can't tell you how happy I was when Nevada beat Boise State.
Yeah, the mistake I made a little bit earlier, by the way, I mistakenly mentioned Utah, the team beating Boise State. I don't know what I was thinking. It was Nevada, of course.
It's probably the whole hitting of the pot.
Yeah, I got a little excited. What can I say? But I'm excited in talking about watching this Boise State team because no matter what you think of the team and how they run their mouths and whatever else, they're a fun team to watch. They're great offense, very I don't know, they're just kind of spur of the moment.
I think Boise State's a great team. Do I think they deserve a shot at the national championship at the end of the year? That's another conversation, and by the way, I don't, because I just don't put their conference up against the other conferences. But this game, I think it'll be a pretty good game. Utah, who reset all kinds of records at Jack Trice this year, against Boise State. I honestly think Boise State wins this game. It's either they're going to win or they're just not going to care.
Yeah, Utah, by the way, is without their starting quarterback, their regular starting quarterback, but their backup is pretty darn good. He's 9-1 as a starter, and so I don't think there's much of a. They're not taking much of a hit there. They're probably going to run the ball a lot because Boise State's defense, their run defense, is awful. They give up a lot of yards on the ground. So Utah's going to try to control the clock. Now, the reason I still see Boise State winning this game is because they're the big play team. They're also a big bowl team.
And Nike gave them new uniforms, so.
Which actually, they're one of the very few that I don't mind. I mentioned that earlier.
Dude, the ones at the beginning of the year when they played Va Tech, both uniforms that night, awesome. And just think, Nike's going to be taking over the NFL stuff, so you might see pro combat in the NFL.
That really scares me, though, because there's so many great classic jerseys in the NFL I don't want to see touched.
All right.
And I don't want to see them ruined. Boise State, they looked great in the Nike uniforms. TCU's, we mentioned earlier, were pretty decent. Virginia Tech's weren't even that bad, really.
Yeah.
Couldn't really see the numbers on them, though, which was kind of weird. But anyway.
Yeah. That's neither here nor there. Well, that's going to do it for another year of Unsanctioned, our inside look at the College Bowl season coming up. And maybe we'll do it again next year. Maybe we'll have a better set in a green screen.
And maybe we'll actually have a presenting sponsor next year.
Yes.
Because this year we're sponsored by Mr. Hanky, the Christmas Poo.
Happy holidays, everybody. This was Unsanctioned.
Merry Christmas. Stay classy, San Diego.